Well, I've got a pretty full plate today. I need to get everybody fed here at the ranch, and then I've got to run a round bale down to the harvest steers that are out at the summer pasture. So we'll do that. And then when that's all done, I got to jam back up here, get my tractor loaded up, and move everything over to the hay field, because my goal is to get my fertilizer put out today. It's another day where my goals probably exceed the amount of time that I have to do them, but we're gonna see how far we can get. That's what's going on today on Farmertylerranch. So what I've been doing now is in the morning when I open them up into the field where their next round bale is waiting for them, then I go and hop on the tractor and I'll put a bale out in this other field, and then tomorrow morning it'll be ready to go. My plan is to just keep bale grazing like this until either it rains, and then, you know, I don't want them going out in the pasture when it's all muddy. So we'll at least do it until then. But then I also need to get my feed wagon done so that I have enough bunk space in this big corral to feed everybody. So it looks like the weather's gonna hold out for a while and I'll have time to get that done, but it's something that I really can't put off much longer. Pretty cold this morning, so I think we'll let this old girl warm up a little bit before we use it. While the tractor's warming up, we'll walk down here to where the weaned calves are and see how they're doing, see if they're ready for another couple bales or not. Water looks good. Looks like you guys need me to rake some more hay out for you. Yeah, I'd say we're ready for another. I had 2 bales set out here for the weaned calves on Friday when I weaned them, and today is Monday and it looks like they're just now ready for 2 more bales. So I was thinking they would average about a bale a day, but they're actually eating less than that, which is good news for me. 2 bales lasted them every bit of 3 days. Part of that might have had to do with the fact that they're spending a lot of time crying and not a lot of time eating. So we'll kind of have to see how long these next 2 bales last. But if I can get 3 days out of 2 bales, I'll be happy with that. In the bullpen, I expect that round bale to last like a week or maybe more. Those guys aren't going through it very fast. There's only 3 of them in there, so I wouldn't expect them to, but they're definitely not going hungry. With bale grazing is just don't put the bales in the same place twice. So now I'm going to shut this gate so that the cattle cannot get out into this middle pasture where that round bale is, and then that way they can't pull the net wrap off of it and try to eat it and, you know, do the things that cows do. The nice thing about a round bale is that when I get to the field, I'll be able to just roll it out of the truck. The bad thing about it is that while I'm driving down the road, if I don't tie it down, it'll be rolling back and forth inside the bed of the truck, and I don't think I need that. I have a headache rack that I built for the last truck that I had, which was an 04 Super Duty, and I've not yet measured the bed on this truck. If the widths are the same, I might just go ahead and put that headache rack on this truck, because there have been several times where I've been a little bit worried about that back window. Oh, before we hit the road, one thing I gotta check. I set up this trail cam here in the barn to see what it is that I've been feeding in my food dish here full of cat food. And I'm gonna get this home, we're gonna find out. I'll put the footage probably at the end of the video so you guys can see, but I would like to hear your guesses, what you think I've been feeding. Maybe a raccoon, a possum, rats, a bunch of mice, or is it in fact a cat? Let me know what you think. All right, well, we're just pulling in here to the steer pasture, and I've got to figure out where I'm going to put this bale. It's not as simple as I guess it probably should be, just because there's almost no flat ground here. So I got to find a good spot where when I drop it out of the back of the truck, it's not going to roll away. Well, after driving around and looking around a little bit, it dawned on me that there is a flat spot out here in this first pasture. So it's kind of down in the corner, but it's pretty big. So I think it'll be a perfect spot to feed a bale. And of course, they have figured out something's up. So they gotta come see what's going on. Whoa, guys, the gate's closed. Gate's closed. Gate's closed. This gate's been open for a couple of weeks, so I wanted to stay in here and make sure they didn't just run right through it thinking that it was open. I think they got it figured out now. Well, I might regret this, but what I'm gonna do is open this gate so that they can follow the truck down to where I'm gonna drop the bale off. It'd be a lot easier to leave them locked in here, go drop the bale, get the net wrap off, get everything set up, and then open the gate. But because where I'm putting it is really off in the corner and not actually very visible from where they're at now, I don't know if they would go investigate or not. They probably would, but this way I know for sure that they're gonna follow me down there and they're gonna know exactly where the hay is. It would appear that they're going to end up wasting a lot of this, which I kind of knew that going in, but I just don't have another feeder to put this hay in, and you know, they needed something. So I mean, actually, as I look around out here, it's not like they've got nothing to eat, but it was time for some supplementation. So this is just one of those things, you just kind of got to pinch your nose and let it happen. But man, we're gonna have to figure something out for the future. They do seem happy, I will have to admit that. And yeah, I'm gonna come back, I think in like 2 or 3 days, and I will check and see how much of that they have eaten, how much of it, you know, just got stomped into the ground or whatever. But at least it'll hold them over for a few more days. Well, we just rolled into the hay field here, and as much as I was hoping this year I'd be able to just take the tractor off the trailer, hook it up to the spreader, turn on my GPS and go, that's not gonna be the case. Yesterday, my dad and I were out here messing around with the new GPS app that I was gonna try this year, and basically came to the determination that it's probably not gonna work for me. And the reason is not because the app is bad necessarily, it's because the tablet that I'm trying to run it through is too slow, and it can't like keep up with me as I move. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna set bag rows up like every 4th pass, and I'm gonna use the GPS to do that. And then I'm still gonna run the GPS on the tractor, and I'm hoping that as long as I can like get back on track every 4th pass or so with my bag row, that just with my driver intuition and what the GPS is telling me, that I'll be able to get, you know, close enough. So I marked my A point at the top of the field. You guys saw me do that with the bag. And then I drove down here, and then I measured off the edge of the field to make my B point. So what the app will do, or what any GPS will do, is when you get your A point and your B point, it will make a straight line between those 2 points, regardless of how straight I drove when I was setting them up. So now that I've got my A-B line, is what this is called, now the app will measure off of this, and I can make my bag rows for my other passes. All right, well, the verdict is in. Trying to use this app as GPS guidance, at least on the tablet that I'm trying to use it on, it just doesn't work. It just plain doesn't work. I really wanted it to work, but it just doesn't. So what I did, I went around using the GPS, I set out all the bags on my perimeter, and then I paced off a middle row, and it was then that I could tell that things were not lining up. To make a long story short, after doing some kind of quality checks, like some of the bags were off by over 20 feet. So anyway, I keep saying long story short. Well, let me make it short. I just said to heck with the GPS, and I paced these bags off, and I set them up the way that I've always done it in the past. And I have a lot more confidence that that is gonna work. I think if you run the app through a phone or something that is a little bit faster and a little bit better, it probably works fine. And I could, you know, just buy an Android phone just for this, but honestly at this point I'm just kind of over it. I tried it, I thought I gave it a good try, and I really wish that I would have just done the bags in the first place now. So with all that being said, I will still hook everything up tomorrow and run it on the tractor, because it does give you, it tells you like how many acres you have done. So it's not a total loss. It's just not gonna be able to do what I hoped it would be able to do. Tomorrow's another day. I've got all my bags set up now, so I'll be ready to go in the morning. I can just hook up to that spreader, fill it up, and start fertilizing. I was hoping to do that today, but I kind of knew it wouldn't happen. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.